My name is Elle Nicoletti, and I'm a rising senior at Boston University, and this summer, a junior fellow in the RRS division, working on a project titled Local History of U.S. Immigrant Communities from 1880 to 1924. The arrival of new populations to the United States during this period resulted in the emergence of unique immigrant communities depending on ethnicity, location, and many other factors. This ongoing project aims to create a more central, accessible, and diverse set of resources relating to immigrant history at the Library of Congress. I'm creating a substantial research bibliography, as well as today in history entries for the library's website. Titled Working Together, Immigrant Solidarity in the Garment Industry, this module looks at the intersection of immigration and the labor movement by comparing two labor strikes: the uprising of the 20,000 among garment workers in New York City in 1909, and the Bread and Roses strike among textile workers in Lawrence, Massachusetts in 1912. Each of these strikes highlights the essential role of immigrant workers within the history of unions. At first glance, it might seem as though there are significant differences between New York City's Lower East Side, the headquarters of the garment industry within a city of 4.7 million, and Lawrence, a mill town of some 86,000 residents, founded by industrialists in Northeast Massachusetts. 1910 census data reveals that New York City had a foreign-born population of about 40%, yet Lawrence boasted a foreign-born population of 48.1%, with 16 nationalities represented, from French Canadian to Italian to Syrian. Both strikes centered on the garment industry, highlighting prominent issues such as low wages and dangerous working conditions. The earlier history of Lowell, Massachusetts laid the foundation for both of these strikes. The Lowell Mill Girls, who were mainly young Irish workers recruited for textile factory work, organized turnouts in 1834 and 36. In 1845, they created the first union of working women in America. They were predecessors to the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, or ILGWU, which was integral to the 1909 New York strike. Meanwhile, the city of Lawrence was founded in 1847 as a follow-on mill town to further expand the textile industry. Young, Jewish, immigrant female workers in New York City made up the majority of strikers in the 1909 shirtwaist strike, remembered as the uprising of 20,000. Most of them worked in small factories operated by middlemen in what was called the sweat system. A young woman named Clara Lemlich was the catalyst for a general strike resolution, decided on at a November 22, 1909 meeting at Cooper Union. After multiple speeches by male leaders, the young Lemlich climbed up onto the platform and began to speak in Yiddish. Quote, "I am a working girl, one of those who are on strike against intolerable conditions. I offer a resolution that a general strike be declared now." With these words, Lemlich ignited thousands of garment workers to strike the very next day. While results of the strike were mixed and varied by factory, the overall event was a big win for the ILGWU. In Lawrence, employment was dominated by the large American Woolen Company mill. A law meant to aid workers by capping their work week instead led to the speeding up system, producing the same work in fewer hours. Local workers were members of the International Workers of the World, with separate chapters organized by ethnicity. When this loss of wages brought them together, broad agreement led to a walkout and a general strike on January 11th and 12th, 1912. This strike garnered widespread attention, particularly due to national reporting on brutality against women and children. Just 2 months later, a congressional hearing was called. Mr. Samuel Lipson, a Jewish member of the strike committee, testified, quote, "I was unable to make a living for my family. We do not use butter at the present time. We use a kind of molasses. We are trying to fool our stomachs with it." Testimony by Carmela Teoli, a 14-year-old Italian girl who had been accidentally scalped by machinery, was especially compelling. While the brutalization drove sympathies, the achievements of this successful strike reflected the organization of immigrant workers and their involvement and leadership in labor unions. The Library of Congress holds vast resources related to immigrant history, from millions of pages of newspapers and chronicling America to films and photographs. Increasing the discoverability of relevant collection materials is integral to diversifying our approach to U.S. history, including immigrant history. These strikes, and strikes as a whole, are sometimes classified as random bursts of anger that erupted into protest. In reality, they show the dedication and organization of immigrant communities and willingness to work together for overall progress in their new country. Thank you very much for listening.